Hey guys, and welcome on into the next NHL offseason preview show. Today I'm going to be talking all about the Vancouver Canucks, taking a look at their draft picks and management, free agents, forward depth, defensive depth, goaltending depth, as well as my offseason tasks for the Vancouver Canucks at the end of the show. If you like the show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what you think the Vancouver Canucks need to do to get themselves back into a playoff spot. The Canucks having a down year last year, 38, 30, and 14, 90 points, 6 points out of a playoff spot overall. And just a rough season for this Canucks team, obviously, with some locker room drama that led to JT Miller being traded. There's still rumors with Elias Pettersson and his future in Vancouver. And a lot of that kind of derailed the season, in my opinion, for this Canucks team. So they'll be looking to make some changes this offseason and try to make a return to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Taking a look at draft picks and management for the Canucks, Patrick Alvin, general manager, hiring Adam Foote to be the next head coach for the Vancouver Canucks. So he will be getting a shot here to lead this Canucks team and try to lead them back into the playoffs after a down year last season. The Canucks have their first, second, fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks. And then they have San Jose's third rounder and Ottawa's fourth rounder. So one pick in each round of the draft for the Canucks, assuming that they don't move any here in any trades. And I would expect Patrick Alvin to be pretty busy this offseason with trying to retool this roster to try to get them back into the playoffs next year. We'll jump into the next segment, which is free agents. Currently, the Vancouver Canucks have approximately $12.1 million in cap space heading into this offseason. They have some RFAs, obviously in the minors. These two guys in Aatu Räty, Arshdeep Bains, both did play in the regular season. So the Canucks should look to get those guys re-signed, probably not at any kind of expensive deal. And then looking at the UFAs, Brock Besser, Peter Suter, two of the top free agents available, leaving the Vancouver Canucks, and Noah Jolson on defense. The big names here are obviously Brock Besser and Pia Suter. Canucks only having $12 million in cap space. They'll have to be careful with how they spend it, obviously, this offseason. And we'll obviously take a look at the roster here in a bit. Brock Besser, I don't see him returning to Vancouver. Obviously, he's been there his whole career, but he's kind of been needing that fresh start. Hasn't been traded with trade rumors the last few years. I think going to a new team and getting a fresh start is something that will be good for Brock Besser. Pia Suter, I'm not sure what his future holds. Maybe the Canucks try to keep him around, or maybe they go after some other UFAs. Aatu Räty, I think you get him re-signed, Arshdeep Bains as well. Probably a two-way contract for him. And then look at some free agents here in free agency. Taking a look at the forward depth chart for the Vancouver Canucks, Nils Hoglander, Elias Pettersson, and Connor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, Philip Hedl, and Kiefer Sherwood, Dakota Joshua, Teddy Bluger, and Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Drew O'Connor, Max Sasson, and Linus Karlsson, with Nils Aman and Aatu Räty as extra depth guys. And when I look at this Canucks forward group, I like the top three centers. I do like the center depth here for the Canucks. Teddy Bluger, definitely a good bottom six forward. Elias Pettersson obviously has the trade rumors around him, but when he is playing well, he's a very good player in this league, a top line forward. And then Philip Hedl definitely has the ability to be a top six forward, and we'll see how he does here if he can stay healthy this season. Taking a look at obviously the wingers, Jake DeBrusk had a great season for the Canucks last year, leading them in goals with 28. 3 goals ahead of Pia Suter and Brock Besser. So the other 2 players that were over 20 goals are both UFAs for the Vancouver Canucks. So assuming that the Brock Besser does leave and Pia Suter maybe leaves as well, the Canucks are going to need some goal scoring from other guys. And when I look at the wingers that the Canucks have here, it's pretty weak, the offense here. And I can see this Vancouver Canucks team, if it was to be these 12 guys, I could see the Vancouver Canucks team struggling to score. So I do think adding some offense is definitely important. Now the Canucks are going to be hoping that young guys like Linus Karlsson, maybe Atu Radi, Niels Zaman, Niels Hoglander as well. The Canucks are going to need these young guys to bring some offense and kind of take that next step with how the Canucks cap space is. So overall, I do think the forward group needs some work, but just how to get that done. Maybe an Elias Pettersson trade would be a good idea just to free up that cap space in order to add some other guys. But if the Canucks are trading Elias Pettersson and bringing some other guys in and some draft picks, then that's pretty much all she wrote for the Canucks playoff hopes this year. Because if you take Elias Pettersson out of this lineup, it's pretty rough here, this forward group. Taking a look at free agent left wingers, I think a guy like Andrei Kuzmenko or Jonathan Drouin would be good additions here. I don't see Brad Marchand going to Vancouver, and I don't see Nikolai Ehlers either, just with the Canucks cap space situation. JVR could be a good third line addition, but 16 goals last year. I think the Canucks need a little bit more than that. Taking a look at UFA centers, guys that also can play the wing as well would be important. Obviously, Pia Suter is on this list, but Vancouver, I'd be looking at a guy like Mikael Granlund. I think Matt Duchene will get too much money elsewhere. I don't think Sam Bennett's interesting going to Vancouver. Claude Giroux could be a little bit interesting, but again, the Canucks need goal scorers. So a guy like Ryan Donato, who had a great season last year, 31 goal scorer in Chicago, if he could come over to Vancouver and replicate that, then I think he would be a good addition. I don't think Donato comes anywhere near what he did last year, next year. So I don't know if any of these centers are the right fit for the Canucks. Taking a look at right wingers, I think going after a guy like Riley Smith would be a good idea. Evgeny Dadonov as well, if you can get those guys for kind of cheaper deals to try to bolster that top six. If the Canucks do want to bring back Brock Besser, obviously he's one of the top goal scorers available. And I don't know if the Canucks, by getting rid of him, letting him leave, if they're going to have that offense. So we'll have to see if any of these guys get added. And then taking a look at RFAs, as I said, I don't think the Canucks will be offer sheeting anyone, but in a deal where maybe they do trade Elias Pettersson, maybe potentially you could do it with a team to get one of these players back, some draft picks, and maybe another prospect as well, because adding any of these guys would definitely bolster the team in the long term. So options for Patrick Alvin, and we'll have to see what he does here. Does he kind of stand pat, or does he look to trade Elias Pettersson and try to get a haul of some kind for him? But moving on along to the defensive group, Quinn Hughes and Tyler Myers, Marcus Pettersson and Philip Roenick, Elias Pettersson, not the Elias Pettersson we were just talking about, Victor Mancini, and Derek Forbort on defense. And I do think there's some holes here on defense for the Canucks. I don't know how much Elias Pettersson plays. He's more of a depth guy. I think the Canucks could look to add another defenseman, depending, obviously, Derek Forward, depending on his health. Again, kind of a depth defenseman here. Only played in 54 games last year. Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronik, obviously two great defensemen on this team. And I mentioned on the New Jersey show, and I hate to continue on with this, but I was just talking about trading Elias Pettersson, and now I'm going to talk about Quinn Hughes. And I know Canucks fans, feel free to leave me any angry comments you want in the comment section of the video, but it's kind of public knowledge out there that Quinn Hughes does want to play with his brothers. It would be extremely difficult for the Canucks to bring over Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. I don't think it's possible for the Canucks to do that. So Quinn would have to leave Vancouver. Now, it's not anything pressing here. The Canucks don't have to go trade him. They're not going to lose him for nothing. He signed this upcoming season at $7.8 million, as well as 2026, 2027. So this isn't we have to trade Quinn Hughes. It's something to consider. Obviously, there's only one team basically that he would go to, most likely that he would want to go to, at least in New Jersey. So I do think Vancouver should explore that. If you are going to completely blow apart this roster, now that's not something I'm saying that the Canucks necessarily need to do, but it is something that they could consider with kind of the cap space situation, with some of the age of some of these guys. The Canucks have some decisions to make on exactly where they want to go here. And if they do want to kind of rebuild things, then you're going to have to trade Quinn Hughes and then probably Philip Hronik as well. If the Canucks think they can make the playoffs, then you're going to need to add to this defense. I think you're going to need to add a defenseman to help bolster this defensive group. Looking at UFA defensemen, quite a few guys in this list, and really, I think any of them would be a good addition here on the Canucks. Brent Burns, I don't think happens, but any of the other guys here on this list, adding them would bolster, I think, this Vancouver defense. Taking a look at the goaltenders, Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen here in Vancouver, and there's some question marks here as well. So Thatcher Demko is in trade rumors galore. His stats last year: 10, 8, and 3, 2.9 goals against average, and 889 save percentage. So just not quite good enough numbers. Not absolutely awful either. Could have been a lot worse. Kevin Lankinen, 25, 15, and 10, 2.62 goals against average, and a 902 save percentage. So Kevin Lankinen was the better goaltender last year for this Canucks team. Demko projected to be the starter, Lankinen the backup. Demko, obviously injury history, but if he gets injured or if he struggles, this Canucks team they don't have the scoring and they don't necessarily have the premier defense to kind of help out. So they need both of their goaltenders to be incredibly strong if they want to make the playoffs. So I think Kevin Lankinen is definitely a good player to keep around if this Canucks team is trying to make the playoffs. And I think you have to try to give Thatcher Demko a try and see how he does. And if he can regain his prior form, then the Canucks could have some good goaltending here. So I'm not going to say the goaltending is awful. It does have some question marks, but it could also be good. It could also be good goaltending. So Taking a look at UFA and RFA goaltenders available, obviously, if the Canucks did want to move on from Thatcher Demko and they didn't get a goalie back, then you're probably going to be looking at one of these UFAs to kind of just fill a roster spot. And there's options available. But again, if the Canucks are trying to make the playoffs, I don't know if adding any of these goalies are going to help. I think you kind of got to stick with what you've got when it comes to the goaltending and spend that money elsewhere, preferably on the offense. Offseason tasks for the Vancouver Canucks. Re-sign your 2 RFAs. Obviously, keep the young players around. Atu Ratty and Archdeep Baines. Any other RFAs in the minors, get them re-signed. Improve the top 6 forward group. Trades, free agency. Try to retool the lineup. You got to improve that offense, I think, because yes, the Canucks only missed the playoffs by 6 points last year, but as I said, there are teams behind them, Utah and Anaheim, that are 2 that I'll mention, that were just past the Canucks last year in the standings. Utah was only a point behind Vancouver. I think Utah is going to improve even more from last year, and I think Anaheim, who was 10 points behind Vancouver, 35, 37, and 10. I think they're going to have a much better season this year with a lot of their young stars improving. So the Canucks need to, if they want to make the playoffs, they need to add to this top 6 forward group and then consider trades to improve the roster, whether that's short-term or long-term. With the situation the Canucks are in right now, I think it might be smart to look at the long-term future here. And it might be time for some kind of retool here in Vancouver. Or I could be completely wrong, and they could surprise us and make the playoffs and have a great season, and I could look like an idiot. But anything can happen. That is the Vancouver Canucks offseason preview show. Make sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And let me know in the comments below what you think the Vancouver Canucks need to do this offseason. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.